New York City's mayoral candidate to form Asian hate crime task force amid rising tension. These and more coming on the world today. Stay with us. Good evening, you're watching iAfrica TV and this is the World Newscast with me, Sohna Tunkar, and now to the rest of our stories. The Gambia's Paralympic athletic team returned home on Monday with a historic 4 medals following a successful campaign at the Tunis 2021 World Para-Athletics Grand Prix. Africa's largest para-sport competition ended on Saturday in Tunisia, where about 480 athletes from 59 countries took part in the competition. And the Gambia's team winning 4 medals is a historic achievement since the establishment of the national team in 2002. We will bring more details of that during Gambia 24. Now, hundreds of New Yorkers have gathered at Columbus Park in Chinatown, neighborhood of Manhattan, on Sunday to condemn anti-Asian hate crimes in the wake of the Atlanta shootings. NYC mayoral candidate Andrew Young addressed the crowd at the rally and called for more funding for the New York Police Department's Asian Hate Crimes Task Force. Since the start of the pandemic, New York City has seen a number of attacks on Asians in the last few weeks, with 29 reported incidents in 2020 alone. The protesters could be seen chanting and holding placards condemning Asian hate crimes. This rally took place in the same week as a deadly attack which saw 8 Asian women lose their lives during a series of shootings that took place at spas in Atlanta. The attacker, Robert Aaron Long, is a 21-year-old white male who is now in police custody and have been charged with several counts of murder. Andrew Young, candidate for mayor of New York City, condemned the racism attack, and according to him, when elected, he is ready to extinguish the situation by funding the Asian Hate Crimes Task Force.
We feared that some of our people would be shot for no other reason than their race, and unfortunately that is exactly what occurred last week in Atlanta. And I've said to anyone who'd listen, it is madness to question a 21-year-old lunatic as to his motivations when we can see clear as day that this was a hate crime. Am I right, New York City? The first things I'm going to do is I'm going to fully fund the Asian Hate Crimes Task Force and the police. This is not an issue that you can have volunteers addressing. If crime against a community goes up 900%, you don't say, oh, we'll let volunteers take care of that. You dedicate resources until that problem feels like it is going down, not up.
Racial discrimination in America over the years have caused series of serious chaotic scenes, which leads to loss of life and left many in critical conditions. Last year, the Black Lives Matter campaign sparked protests throughout the U.S. and around the globe over the death of an African American, George Floyd, in the hands of a white police officer. Similar killings have surfaced as well, and this time, Asian Americans feel targeted. And according to one of the protesters, this is the urge for white supremacy.
What happened in Georgia on Tuesday should have never happened. We feel for you guys because it happened to us last year. They did the same thing in Georgia when they killed 9 African Americans in the church. So we feel what you guys are feeling because we've been feeling that since the day we were born. And now they're trying to turn the table, and it's white supremacists against all of us.
In the advent of the deadly coronavirus pandemic, restrictive measures were imposed which led to several businesses being brought to a near halt in order to cope with the spread of the virus due to its insensitive nature. However, these protesters feel the opposite.
People saying, don't sit close to me, I don't want to get COVID. Don't walk past me, I don't want to get sick. The gestures, people being sprayed disinfectant on because we're Asian. Asian homes being vandalized, restaurants and businesses being boycotted for fear. We've seen this so many times in our country. When something goes wrong, they gotta scapegoat somebody. And who gets scapegoated? We do.
Senate Majority Leader Charles Kuma slammed former President Donald Trump for igniting the anti-Asian rhetoric in the country. Charles said during his tenure as president, Trump did not speak out against hate crimes, thus fueling the current situation. Since the start of the pandemic, there has been an uptick of attacks on Asians across the U.S. New York City has seen a number of attacks in just the last few weeks, with 29 reported incidents in 2020. However, police said the suspect, Robert Aaron Long, later told them that his crimes were not racially but sexually motivated. For African News, Sahna Tunkara. A call to Asian hate crime begins as New York City's mayoral candidate plans to set up a task force. Now, lack of access to potable water in rural communities in Ghana continues to put women and children in hard conditions to access water for domestic use. Millions of Ghanaians in rural communities rely on polluted water for drinking and other purposes, despite authorities providing hundreds of dams in different communities to ease the constraints. And however, the government needs to do more to improve their conditions.
Salamatu Simon walks more than 2 kilometers every day to collect water. This dam is the only source of it where she lives, in the northern region of Ghana. She will use the water for drinking and cooking.
I'm not able to get enough water for my daily use because of the long distance from my house to the dam. When I make one trip, I get tired and sometimes find it difficult to go to the farm.
Access to water is not evenly distributed in Ghana. While people in urban areas have access to clean water, millions in rural areas rely on supplies that are polluted. In the northern region of Ghana, women join long queues to get water from boreholes.
I process rice and sell for a living, so I always need water. But these days, due to the scarcity of water, I'm not able to process the rice because I spend all day fetching water.
The United Nations says only 24% of the population in sub-Saharan Africa has access to safe drinking water, and it's usually women who travel long distances to collect it for household needs. People in this community share this source of water with cattle. During the dry season, the dam is depleted, and these women have to walk extra kilometers in search of water. This source of water leaves people vulnerable to illness and disease, and the long hours the women spend to fetch it affects their livelihoods, widening the inequality gap. UNESCO estimates that women spend at least 16 million hours daily collecting water, compared to 6 million hours for men.
If we get potable water connected to our homes, our women can take better care of the home.
The government says it has constructed more than 400 dams across the country to improve access to water in rural areas. But activists say the project has not been sustainable as most of the dams have dried up. They want the government to invest in other technologies to provide safe water to people in rural areas.
We must find a way of impounding surface water to treat for them. And yet they say the cost is so high, and we cannot exploit the water. So if you can put a value on water, it is more than the money that you are spending. It means everything to a community, to the culture, to their way of life, to their education, to their agriculture.
It may take years for Salamatu's home to be connected to pipe water. She and other residents have to continue making long trips to collect water from this polluted dam. But they hope to get their water treated right from the source soon to help reduce illnesses and diseases.
Lack of access to potable water in rural communities in Ghana continues to put women and children in hardship. Now, Ugandan health experts have developed a local coronavirus testing gears as part of efforts to rapidly trace new cases in different parts of the country. The lack of enough testing kits in the world have left many countries struggling to deal with the virus. and the country's health authorities welcome the new development, saying it will improve the capacity of surveillance in the country. Here is more of that in this report.
The diagnostic kit is designed to produce results by running tests using blood samples. The team behind it says the kit will detect exposure to the coronavirus and is 60% accurate.
You get a small finger prick, you put on the test pad, you add in a buffer, and the test is run. And ideally, it should give you results within 2 to 3 minutes. But for the test to be read, you have to wait for another about 10 minutes.
The test kit is designed to enable health workers carry out tests from any location. The tests will cost less than $5, much more affordable than the usual tests done in labs. Those cost $60 and results are out after about 6 hours. Researchers recommend that a confirmatory test is done in the lab after a rapid test confirms someone is positive. The team of scientists here say the innovation will support countries in carrying out quick and timely large-scale testing. It will also help understand how widespread the virus is in a community. The shortage of testing kits globally has seen many countries struggle to detect and respond immediately. The WHO has asked countries to increase testing so as to contain the spread of COVID-19. Uganda's health ministry has welcomed the project.
It becomes important that we have affordable, easy-to-use, rapid tests deployed for screening or surveillance within particularly high-risk transmission settings, such as some of the districts we have, the schools, which we are now beginning to open, as well as the prisons.
The kit is still undergoing improvements before it can be used commercially.
We've done internal validation. The test will go out and they do further expanded validation within a controlled environment. Later on, it will go into almost a countrywide, The more numbers we increase, the more we understand how the test performs.
Some of the reagents used in making the kit are being imported from the U.S. manufacturer Astra Diagnostics. The project is being funded by the government, the French embassy and local companies.
From that, we will now go with a short commercial break and the news continues. Stay tuned.
They say we slept in one world and woke up in another. This global tragedy got humans together despite our social distancing. Our nature is taking a break. And giving us a wake-up call on what and who truly matters. Look around you. Hold on. Breathe. Count your blessings. Take time for self-renewal, for a better start tomorrow. Soon, life will be back. Meanwhile, let's stand apart together, with one heart.
Welcome back. If you're just tuning in, this is iAfrica TV and the World Newscast with me, Sohna Tunkara. And now to the rest of the stories. The chairman of the Gambia's Truth Commission, Dr. Lamin Sise, said the unlawful crimes committed by agents of the state were not individual decisions, but intimidation from Jammeh's brutal reign. Dr. Sise made the remarks as he gave opening statement of the 22nd session of the Commission's public hearing on Monday. This comes after several witnesses testified on the alleged massacre of the West African migrants in July 2005. Khadija Seka tells us more.
Since the inception of the TRRC, at least 358 people who were victims and self-confessed perpetrators testified before the Commission on the series of human rights violations committed from 1994 to 2017 under the dictates of Jammeh. Many perpetrators revealed that they were ordered by former President Yahya Jammeh to carry out those unlawful crimes. Chairman of the commission, Dr. Cisse, said the crimes committed by the perpetrators were triggered by Jammeh's reign of terror.
It was also clear from witness accounts that the acts of these agents weren't some of the product of individual decisions on their part, but rather a calculated and intentional policy of Yahya Jammeh to consolidate and perpetuate his reign of terror and the fear in the Gambia. Some witness perpetrators testified that they themselves would be killed if they did not carry out superior orders to torture detainees to unlawfully obtain confessions. The torture meted out reached its crescendo when the detainee was accused, especially, of being part of a plot to overthrow Yahya Jammeh. It is the old story of feeding the crocodile with innocent people, hoping that the storm of dictatorship would pass before their turn comes to be devoured by the reptilian beast.
Nearly 51 West African migrants stranded at the shores of Barra were killed in July 2005. Some of the junglers who came to testify before the commission confirmed that they killed the migrants under the orders of Jammeh. Dr. Cisse said the unlawful killings does not represent the values of the country, saying Gambia embraces strangers and assists them when they are in need.
These attributes did not represent the Gambia. Our cultures, ethos, and the traditions welcome strangers. We share food and shelter willingly with them, not kill them. The killing of the West African migrants adds to the chilling litany of mass murders of human beings, in addition to individual killings in the Gambia during the mandate period.
Dr. Cisse further called on Gambians to embrace the never again mantra of the TRRC. The Truth, Reconciliation and Reparation Commission is set to finish its final report and submit recommendations to the Gambia government during the first week of July this year. The Commission reaffirmed its commitment in executing their mandate without intimidation until their work is concluded. Reporting for iAfrica News, I am Khadija Tusek.
The Gambia's TRRC chairman says killings by security officers were intimidation from Jammeh's brutal reign. Now, from that report by Khadija Tuseka in Nigeria, Central Bank has introduced a new naira $4 scheme that seeks to make remittance through formal bank channels more convenient for Nigerians in the diaspora. More than 10 million Nigerians live outside the country, excluding those in other African countries, and the new scheme will allow recipients of diaspora remittance through central bank operators to earn a rebate of 5 naira for every US dollar received as remittance inflow. But however, not everyone has welcomed the move.
Businessman Babatunde Adetiba has been receiving monies from overseas for more than 8 years now. In the past, he used unofficial channels for his foreign transactions in order to boost his exchange rates. Diaspora remittances were paid in the local currency, the naira, and at a discounted rate.
Right now, we receive money through Central Bank of Nigeria licensed international money transfer organizations called INTOs. Well, that's how we receive our monies now. But before now, we have other channels that enable us to get effective rates.
But the new central bank scheme does not only ensure remittances are received in the originating currency, it also offers a 5 naira incentive for every US dollar received through formal channels. Now Babatunde is cashing in on the opportunity.
It's one of the best incentives that the central bank has given in a long time, and it's been effective. What that means is that apart from getting the effective exchange rate for the money sent, you get an extra 5 naira.
About 13 million Nigerians live abroad. That's apart from those living in other African countries. That's why Nigeria benefits massively from diaspora remittances, surpassing oil revenue. The central bank's naira for dollar seeks to strengthen diaspora inflows and gradually eliminate informal channels of receiving funds. But economists say there are loopholes in the scheme.
As we speak, central bank is silent whether people can collect in hard currency or they should collect in naira. So if they collect the money in hard currency, they go to parallel market. I'm afraid some of the effort of central bank may not yield the kind of results they are hoping for.
Currently, the exchange rate in the black market is 480 naira to $1, far much higher than the central bank's approved rate, 380 naira to $1. Experts say for the scheme to thrive, the government may need to either crash the black market or match its rate.
Parallel market, we have at least 7. There are more. Unlike what is applicable at about 390 to 400, we now have 475 consistently at parallel market. And I think that gap is more than enough, which can swallow 5 naira, because we are looking at multiple of percentage of what central bank is promising people.
Nigeria's external reserve fell from $36.19 billion at the beginning of February to $34.7 billion in the first week of March. The naira for dollar scheme is meant to help boost the reserves, and the quick fix policy will last for the next 2 months.
That was all from me and the rest of the crew on The World Today. We'll be back with Gambia 24 at 19:30 GMT. I am Sana Tunkara. Thanks for watching and bye for now.